Recording.
No comment. Morning, Chris. Not seen me.
Oh,
We're waiting for John, are we?
yeah.
Again.
He'll be here any minute now.
The sand in his watch keeps running out. That's a problem.
Morning, Kath. How are you doing?
He's got some sad news today, by the way.
Yeah.
But we'll let you tell him. Let John tell you.
The right words, not necessarily in the right order, lol, but we understood. I saw a joke in the paper the other day. A Yorkshireman goes into the vet. Something wrong with cat. The vet says, "Is it a Tom?" He says, no, it's in the basket.
And can I tell you?
They're always the best.
Hang on, who's speaking then?
Darth Vader's son.
Ron. Right.
No, I haven't said a word. I'm just listening.
It might have been Chris, I think.
I think it was Chris.
Chris, yeah, I think.
Right. That book about the tomcat, a friend of mine actually told that on Radio 1 about 40 years ago.
That's when I heard it, yeah.
Hang on, this is John.
The old ones are the best.
Hello, John.
I forgot his numbers.
The old ones are the only ones I can remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
They're
2
school
seconds.
kid jokes, but my grandchildren call them pop jokes now.
Yeah.
Dad jokes. Not so much as a laugh, more of a groan.
Yes.
Going back to it. Yeah, well, yeah. I'm just trying to find it now.
Are you Wednesdayites all pleased about Gary Monk then?
I am, personally.
Two left.
Hang on, let me just put phone down a second.
I'm a Unitedite. I'm devastated.
What's the news, Paul? What's the news?
They sacked him last night.
Did they?
Yeah.
Poor
That's
lad.
where John will be this morning.
They sacked him.
Just before 9 o'clock.
Mm.
It was announced just before 9 o'clock last night.
I thought he'd doing a great job.
I did as well. I'd have kept him.
Yeah, yeah. Get Warnock in, I say.
I'd have kept him. I'd have kept him.
Chris, I think your sound's a bit strange.
Yeah. Is that better?
Yes.
No, but just occasionally it saturates and squawks at us.
Here we go.
Yeah.
You're outside your dynamic range.
752
It's only an earphone.
It's all right now. Okay.
534
Well, you don't talk through an earphone.
1569.
Try the microphone.
You're okay now?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
that's okay.
Probably there's a bit of feedback.
One is 74.
The world stops for John.
1010.
Still hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
It's my fault at my end. Sorry.
Well, we knew that, but we,
All right. Okay. See you in a bit. Bye.
we didn't want to upset you, but it was your fault. Is John joining us, Keith?
Yeah, he'd lost his email.
Oh.
I thought it had
There he
him
is.
set up for the job.
He's here, look. Only just. He's here.
Well, top of his head is. That's better.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm not so sure about that. Sorry about the delay, lad. I was just about to key in and my brother phoned me wanting a number of an energy comparison site because I'm the local directory. And then when I got back to my phone, I'd lost the details.
Excuse number 32. I think we should introduce a £1 penalty for every minute late after 5.
I'm up for that.
That's £2.50 you owe us.
That'll do me. I was hoping for £3.
Good luck with getting that.
So I think I've won.
Right, chaps. Let's get cracking now that the main man's here. So, John, can you start off with the sad news of the group this week, please?
Yeah, Stuart, our friend Stuart, lovely Stuart, he passed away on Sunday at the Hallamshire Hospital with his wife and 2 of his sons with him. It was slightly earlier than was hoped for, predicted, but at least they were with him. He suffered for a long time. He suffered stoically with good humour, but he was in tremendous pain. He'd had leukemia, serious kidney issues, and then he developed sepsis in hospital. So in some ways it was a blessed release from the pain. But I passed on our good wishes to Sue, his wife, and she's very grateful and very touched by the fact that we all genuinely cared a lot about him. And those of you who didn't meet him, he really was a lovely bloke. Apart from the fact that he liked Ron Springett and Elvis, he was a nice man. So rest in peace, Stuart.
Yeah. John, did Stuart come down to Bayton when we went to Bayton?
No, because he was ill.
Right.
He
Okay.
didn't. No.
Right. All right.
Was he at the Fairways last Christmas, John?
He would have been, yes. I'm fairly
Yes.
sure he would have been, yes. Yeah. He sat on the table with Albert and Glenn.
Who was the guy who kept Bayton, who kept sitting in the wrong seats all the time?
That was Don. Don from Granville Road. I've not had any word from him for a while, but I emailed his son a couple of days ago, so I'm awaiting a reply.
Right.
I used to phone him every week, but he couldn't remember who I was or why I was phoning him. So
Right.
I just keep in periodic touch with his son.
Right. Okay. All right.
And
So
who are you?
any other news this week, John?
Not particularly. I've phoned Ed, and then Ed phoned me, then I phoned Ed, and he's just fed up, that's all. He's just fed up about being locked in for 8 months. He got admitted to the home just before lockdown, and he's not been out of it since. And he's a very, very gregarious person, visiting his spouse, so it's affected him mentally, unfortunately. He was suffering anyway, but the fact that he's locked in with very few people to talk to properly, it's not doing him any good at all. So the sooner we've got a bit of freedom and get him out to the cafe for a cup of coffee and a chat and a piece of cake, and annoy the cafe patrons by singing to them, the sooner that happens, the better.
Is there any way we can get a Zoom meeting set up for him whilst, i.e. you, one of us, is there? Somebody take a laptop in, set up a Zoom.
They won't let anybody in here.
No, we can't get in.
Can't get in.
You can't.
Of course.
That's the problem. People will not go in.
Stupid
Yeah.
idea.
No, it's all right. It's a good idea under normal circumstances.
December.
But at the
maybe.
moment, it's impossible.
All right.
But there are a lot of people here, even now with lockdown, they're still letting people come to the door, to the window, that sort of nonsense.
Mm.
But it is a hell of an intrusion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Oh, well, we'll get through it.
Okay. So, right, we'll move swiftly on then to Lol's News of the Week.
News of the week.
Lord's news of the week.
And the big news is from Hillsborough again.
I'm leaving that to the end.
All right, okay.
The living end.
Now, this is going to be a first for me. I'm going to dedicate this news to Stuart, because as John knows and Doug, he used to sit next to me quite often at the Crystal Manor Top get-togethers, and Ian knows him as well.
Yeah.
That's why he had to be sprayed regularly.
So I'm going to dedicate it to Stuart, the readings. First of all, Formula One. Now I'm going back a bit in time here. Now, once again, starting on pole position 16 days ago, Lewis Hamilton won the Portuguese Grand Prix to finally overtake Michael Schumacher's all-time win record of 91. Taking the lead on lap 20, when he overtook teammate Bottas, he dominated to take his 92nd career Grand Prix victory. A week later, he moved to the brink of a 7th world title with victory at the Imola racetrack in Italy. A 1-2 for Mercedes with Bottas, who started on pole, coming second, sealed a record 7th consecutive Constructors' Championship. Hamilton will win the title at the next race in Bahrain as long as Bottas does not outscore him by more than 7 points.
You can see why Lowell works for Sky Sports, can't you? 2nd consecutive constructors.
Yeah, but he's not got a low cut top, has he?
Thank God.
Thankfully.
Wearing the high heels though.
What?
So he's wearing the high heels.
Don't you tell him what to wear.
Sorry,
Mm.
Kat.
Sorry.
Right, tennis.
Long.
Hello.
Just before we move off Formula One,
Yep.
can I just mention that next April should have been the inaugural Vietnamese
Vietnam.
Grand Prix,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's being cancelled now.
Being cancelled, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't know whether they'll ever race there at all.
It's a corruption or something
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with COVID. It's bound to be to do with money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Thank you
the
for
person
mentioning
who's
that.
supposed to be organising it has just been charged with corruption.
That's right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
All right.
But not to do with the race,
Yet.
everything else.
Bit on tennis. Now, Rafael Nadal became the 4th player to record 1,000 ATP Tour wins with victory over fellow Spaniard Feliciano Lopez at the Paris Masters. American legend Jimmy Connors leads with 1,274, followed by Nadal's longtime rival Federer with 1,242, and Czech great Ivan Lendl on 1,068. The feat comes a month after Nadal won his 20th Grand Slam, matching Federer's record with a 13th French Open title. Now, a bit of sad news really about tennis. Australia's Nick Kyrgios says he was in a lonely, dark place after suffering with depression while on tour. The 25-year-old has not played since February after limiting his travel because of the COVID pandemic. Kyrgios, who began to see a psychiatrist in 2018, said that people were not aware how lonely tennis can be. I felt like no one wanted to know me as a person. They just wanted to get a hold of me as a tennis player and use me, he told Sydney's Sunday Telegraph.
Well, he seems to have done a good job of trying to get people not to
Not to
talk
like
to him, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, done a cracking job. What an idiot. Idiot.
Thank you, Judge. Next.
Is your middle name Jeffries?
Right. Now, world number 5, Daniel Medvedev won his 8th ATP Tour title as he beat Alexander Zverev in the Paris Masters final. German Zverev, who won 2 titles in as many weeks in Cologne last month and beat Rafael Nadal in the semi-finals, took the first set, but Russian 3rd seed Medvedev rallied to win in 2 hours 7 minutes. It was only his 2nd win in 7 meetings with Zverev, and the first being in the 2019 Shanghai Masters final. Bit for Ian here on rugby union. The All Blacks rugby team is in talks with private equity investors as it struggles with the financial impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. New Zealand's national treasure has seen its cash reserves slashed by almost a half due to the lockdowns. New Zealand Rugby have said it is now looking at alternative sources of funding, such as private equity. The move raises the prospect that the famed All Blacks name could be sold to the highest bidder. So you're going to get your hands in your pocket, Ian?
Not for the All Blacks, thank you.
Did you see that they lost to Australia at the weekend?
Yep.
Did they?
Yes. Good match. Really
They
good match.
paced it. New Zealand won. They played the previous week, and New Zealand won something like 45-5.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they played them 7 days later, and Australia beat them by 2 points.
Yeah. It was a cracking game, Paul.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit like in the olden days at Christmas when teams used to play Christmas Day and Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Hey, funny you should mention that, Keith. If we got a rugby league, St Helens always used to play Wigan on Good Friday and Bank Holiday Monday. Do you remember that?
Did they?
Yeah.
Sounded not like Shirley Bassey.
It's just I was going through some things with Sue's dad, and it was telling me the first match he ever went to was to see Spurs play Charlton Athletic on Christmas Day, and Charlton won 1-0. And then the following day, his dad took him to the Valley to see the return match when Tottenham won 4-1. And apparently it was a occurrence that teams played each other on Christmas Day and Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder what they'd say. I wonder what Klopp and
Guardiola.
Guardiola would say about that.
Need 11 substitutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could they cope with that few?
It's only fair that it's only fair the big team should have as many substitutes as they want.
Yes, especially if they're Liverpool.
You said it.
They keep making the point that neither Jurgen Klopp nor Pep Guardiola used 3 substitutes at the weekend.
Yeah.
So one of them used 1 and 1 used 2. So why do they want 5 when they're not even using the 3 that they've already got?
Yeah.
Good point, Kath.
That's a very good
Very
point, Kath.
good
But
point.
shall we move on? We don't want any blasphemy like that.
Oh, Richard.
We'll move on
I've
to
explained you the
athletics.
rules.
Yeah, you've got it by you received it. Thank you. And I'm
There's a talking cupboard there.
There we go.
Oh, you know.
Better looking
Sometimes
than
he
other
throws
guy.
his voice like Jenny.
It is better looking than the normal man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's very sound off.
Colin's walked out now.
No, I'm only switching the kettle on because I have to keep disappearing to sort out my wife when she's getting up and such like.
All right.
Good man.
Not to worry.
Good man.
Yeah,
Where's Lola gone?
yeah. That's the reason why I keep disappearing. Is
Well, still here.
needs must.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, that's why I sit here. I don't say a lot, but I like listening.
Right then.
Carry on then. Athletics. Now, Russia's appeal against its 4-year ban from all major sporting events was being heard by the Court of Arbitration for Sport from yesterday. In December 2019, Russia's anti-doping agency was declared non-compliant for manipulating laboratory data handed over to investigators the previous January. The World Anti-Doping Agency had controversially reinstated Russia in 2018 after a 3-year suspension for its vast state-sponsored doping scandal.
Noel, do you have to go on a course before you do this? These, things? I mean, that's very professional. All this alliteration.
Don't embarrass me. Now, Britain's Laura Muir has been nominated for this year's World Athletics Female Athlete of the Year award. 27-year-old Muir is the quickest in the world over 1,500 metres this season and set a new United Kingdom 1,000 metres record in August. A month later, the Scot ran a world-leading 3 minutes 57.4 seconds in Berlin over 1,500 metres. Of 10 nominees, Muir is the only Briton in the running for the award, which was won last year by Delilah Muhammad of the United States.
My.
Right, bit on horse racing. Now, Austin Murphy retained his champion flat jockey title, with nearest rival William Buick unable to overhaul his 142 wins after had a winless evening at Newcastle. Irishman Murphy completed his campaign with a double at Southwell last Tuesday before flying to the United States for the Breeders' Cup. Buick only had 7 rides at Doncaster last Saturday to add to his 133 wins, having had no success at Newcastle the previous evening. Now, talking about Southwell Racecourse is spotted.
No, he's talking about
Talk
Southwell.
posh.
You carry on, Lord.
Talk posh. Southall. That's down near where you live, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Southall.
Right, near Nottingham.
So
That's
South
right.
outside Nottingham.
Southall to us local.
yeah, Southwell if you live there.
Okay, Southwell,
Southall.
Racecourse is permitted to resume jump meetings again this week after fences were modified following an investigation into 8 fatalities at the track since July the 1st. National Hunt Racing was suspended at the track on the 3rd of September as a result of concerns over the spate of deaths, and a comprehensive review has been carried out since then. The slope of the plain steeplechase fences on the course has been changed to be more pronounced to improve the shape that horses make over the jumps. A little bit on boxing. Now, Dillian White's rematch with Alexander Povetkin has been postponed after the Russian tested positive for coronavirus. 41-year-old Povetkin produced a stunning knockout win over the British heavyweight in August, and the pair were due to fight again on the 21st of November. Promoter Eddie Hearn tweeted that Povetkin was in hospital and a new fight date of the 30th of January next year has been made.
She tested
Let's put on
positive.
judo.
She tested
The
positive.
British
for
judo.
Carry on.
What's happening?
The tablets are kicking in. Carry on.
Little bit on judo.
We're going to have marbles next week.
You wait, it'll be surprising, John, what I get up to next week.
Oh, he's lost them.
Judo. British judo has withdrawn all of its athletes from the European Championships in the Czech Republic over COVID concerns. Olympian Natalie Powell was among the 18-strong Great Britain squad set to compete between the 19th and the 21st of November. In a statement, the British Judo said decision was not taken lightly. Rugby League, Ian?
Carry on, Lowell. Carry on. Up and under.
The Wigan won their 5th league leaders shield.
No. Wigan.
I'll tell you what, we'll have
I think Catherine's looking a bit bemused down at the bottom there.
I'll see you afterwards for elocution lessons, all right?
Electrocution lessons, all right.
Now, Wigan, they won their 5th league leaders shield and the first since 2012 as they beat Huddersfield 19-6 in the final game of the regular Super League season. The win ensured that Adrian Lamb got his first piece of silverware as Wigan boss. Some people regard the shield as the hardest honour to win in rugby league. First awarded in 1998, St Helens having won it the most times with 8 wins. A little bit on snooker. Now, Northern Ireland's Mark Allen defeated Neil Robertson 10-6 in the Champion of Champions decider in Milton Keynes. It was level at 4-4. with Allen hitting 2 centuries, while defending champion Robertson knocked in 3. Former Masters champion Allen won the final frame of the first session to edge ahead of the world, with world number 8 then led 7-6 before surging to victory. A break of 119 moved him 2 clear, and Allen finished off in style with a 105.
There's not like a good surge.
No. Darts. Now Wales won the World Cup of Darts for the first time as they beat top seeds England 3-0 in Salzburg. The Welsh second seeds had lost 2 previous finals in 2010 and 2017. In the quarterfinals, England beat Austria 2-1 and Wales beat Australia 2-1. In the semi-finals, England beat Belgium 2-0 and Wales beat Germany 2-0. England was seeking to become the first nation to win the event on 5 occasions, but instead suffered only the second whitewash in the finals history. Finally come to what you've all been waiting for, that's football. The Sheffield Wednesday, the 12-point deduction for breaking spending rules has been reduced to 6 points. The club was said to have included the sale of their stadium in their 2017-18 accounts, despite the ground being sold a year later. The club's argument to remove the penalty altogether was rejected by the English Football League. Owner Shansiri says he takes full responsibility for the problem.
And then sacks Monk.
Now, Blaze striker David McGoldrick has ended his international career after winning 14 caps with the Republic of Ireland. The 32-year-old made his debut against the United States in 2014 and scored his only international goal last year in Ireland's 1-1 draw against Switzerland. He made the decision to retire to concentrate on his club career and family. He was named the FAI's Senior Men's Player of the Year in August. Now, England's Nations League match against Iceland is in doubt because of the government's new travel ban on non-UK visitors coming from Denmark. The restrictions relate to concerns over a new coronavirus strain that has spread from the minks to humans. Iceland are set to play Denmark in Copenhagen 3 days before facing England at Wembley on the 18th of November. Unlike other travel to the UK, there will be no exemptions to this quarantine policy, the guideline says. But yesterday, the FA were looking into playing the game in a neutral country, with Albania emerging as the leading candidate to host the game. Any comments on that?
Is Norman Wisdom playing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand that. If there's a risk.
If there's a risk, there's a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a risk. There's a risk whether you're playing to or wherever.
But if they don't play, they forfeit it, don't they?
Good.
They forfeit the points.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Right,
Yes.
finally, what you've all been waiting for. The Sheffield Wednesday manager, Gary Monk, has been sacked after 14
Who?
months in charge
Who?
of the Championship
Derek
club.
Monk?
Who?
Gary Monk.
Is that his little known brother?
What's that?
What?
What's
Gary,
it, John?
he said Gary.
You did say
Sounded like
that.
Eric.
Did I say Gary Monk?
Yes, you did.
We did.
Yeah, say Gary.
Gary Monk has been sacked after 14 months in charge of the Championship club. All his backroom staff have also had their contracts terminated with immediate effect. The Owls have just had a 10-point week, 2 clean sheets, a win and a draw, and are off the bottom of the division. So the timing of the sacking, which was announced just before 9 o'clock last night, came as a bit of a surprise. Joining the Owls in September 2019, he has overseen 58 games, and it was only last week that Chansiri backed his manager 100%. Now his win ratio was 30.
You can't write this.
His win ratio with the Owls was 32.75%, and Josh Lukai's was 33%, so he wasn't far off very equal standards. Now, in the 58 games, Wednesday won 19, They drew 14, they lost 25. They scored 65 and they let in 78 goals.
Can you
Well,
imagine
like,
being there on a Sunday, 9 o'clock? You're just having a brew and somebody rings you. Don't bother coming in tomorrow, son. Your job's over. No.
It was Monday, not Sunday.
Of course it was, yeah. Either way, it's just 9 o'clock at night. Come on.
That's when he announced it on the dash dog.
Uh,
He might have known earlier.
Right.
He'd have known. He'd have known it was coming.
Yeah. I still think it's, well, I just
Well, it's
think
always
bad.
coming when they want
Poor
to say
management.
that, you know, they've got the backing, haven't they?
I
Yeah.
think Monk should dispute
it-
the result.
Does anybody think he's been hard done to?
In a way,
Because
yeah.
I don't. I think
Yes, I
No,
do.
in a way. I mean, his overall record speaks for itself, and that alone would probably get him sacked. But, I mean, he's hardly responsible for us losing 12 points. That's Chansiri.
Yeah.
And he's not responsible. I know we all moan about injuries, so I'm going to moan about injuries. We've had 9 players injured and 3 sent off so far this season in about 8 games. So that's tremendous bad luck. So on that basis, I think he's unlucky. But his overall record is poor.
I agree with you, John. Benitez had the same problem at Liverpool. He lost his job. It was nothing to do with the football. It was to do with the boardroom and the ownership. You know, and there's a lot of that goes on in these bigger clubs.
But
He's been allowed to bring 9 players in, and a new manager's now going to have to work with those 9 players.
Yeah.
his footballing record is poor. And I think if it hadn't have been for COVID, he would have been sacked at the end of last season. It was only because there was this strange link of the 2 seasons that he was kept on.
Yeah.
Possibly, Ron.
Good point. Good point, Ron.
But why did Chansiri come out last week? I've seen it on the video saying he's got his 100% backing.
Because he's a
No, not quite. He said he's
How many
still
times?
here.
How many times have we seen that though? Sorry, Ron.
He's a dog.
Confidence.
He's a bully.
It's always the kiss of death when somebody says that, isn't it?
It is.
So, yes, Paul.
I know it's very early, but has anybody been linked at job as yet?
Yeah.
Cook.
About half of the available managers.
Brian the Blade, I think he's applied.
Yeah, let him have the job.
Is Neil Warnock free? Is Neil Warnock
Neil
free?
Warnock. Neil Warnock.
No, he's at Middlesbrough.
Well, he's in Middlesbrough.
Oh, he'd love to
Oh,
come.
he is, but he'd go to Hillsborough just to, so he could take him into Northern Premier.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said that. He said that before. Yeah.
You know, he told them that they were the best supporters he's ever managed. Best group of supporters. Every club Neil Warnock goes to, they're always the best supporters that he's ever been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a script which he uses at every club.
No. Any idea of where it will be other than Paul Cook?
But it's hard to say. I mean, the thing is, justified though it might be, for once we had a decent week where we got 10 points from 2 games. I mean, not many clubs do that. And we'd gone from a position of pessimism, having lost 4 in a row, to mild optimism. And all of a sudden you get kicked in teeth again. It's rubbish being a Wednesday. It's nearly as bad as being a United, isn't it?
Oh, steady on.
Not quite.
But I think that's the other thing he's waited for, because with a 12-point deduction, he was never going to get a decent quality manager. But now they're in a position to be able to pull out of the relegation zone. Decent managers might consider them. I think it's all to do with the 12 points, even though it's got nothing to do with 12 points. It's got nothing to do with Gary Monk.
Yeah.
I think I saw somewhere yesterday that I think it's Andy Hinchcliffe backs Wednesday to get into the playoffs. There's some pundit along the way. I'm sure it was Andy Hinchcliffe who forecast that.
Brian the Tie has said that as well. For those of you who don't know, Brian the Tie is a member of Crystal Peak Sporting Memories and a fanatical Blade.
I think Wednesday have got about as much chance of reaching the playoffs as I have.
My money's on you,
I
Keith.
think you're right, Keith.
Yeah, no, unless you're talking about next season in League One.
I love optimism.
Gosh, you're a really good crew today, aren't you?
I love it.
Anyway,
On
can't we
Tuesday.
talk about how crap United are this season? I'm depressed enough as it is.
Oh,
Well,
please. I've got a
we
stat
have-
here.
I mean, last Saturday's game was awful.
Yeah.
And
I feel sorry for the goalkeeper, though. He's coming for a lot of criticism now, isn't he?
Yes.
Aaron Ramsdale.
I should think so. He's shocking.
Talking of goalkeepers, what do you think of
Absolutely
Pickford?
shocking. Who?
yeah,
What do you think?
he had a very poor game on Saturday.
Good news for United, though. Manchester United are thinking of loaning Henderson out for the second half of the season.
Is that true, Ron?
Yeah, well, so it's
Yeah.
in the press, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Only thinking about it, but
Yeah.
they're thinking about giving him half a season somewhere. Now,
Yeah.
I think Henderson will back to United.
Yeah.
Right, chaps.
That's
we
if
now-
Manu would let him come.
Yeah, we're less than a minute now, so we'll end this one, and I'll see you in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay.
See you soon.